Welcome to another edition of the MMA Complex. My name is James.
My name is Josh.
And we are in fight week for UFC 205 that takes place this Saturday night in New York City at the Madison Square Garden. For the very first time, the UFC makes its trip as Conor McGregor looks to become a two-division champion as he goes against Eddie Alvarez. Later on the show, Josh and I are going to do our fight picks for that card. Mm-hmm. But for today's show, we have UFC ring girl and now artist, one Brittney Palmer, be on the show today. Josh was there at her art exhibit. He's going to tell us a little behind-the-scenes stories, and we'll get into an interview pretty soon.
Yeah.
And also have EBI three-division champ Garry Tonon. Josh and I caught up with them after EBI 9 took place Sunday night at the Open Theater in downtown Los Angeles. So before we get to all the craziness of MMA, EBI, all that good stuff, my man Josh is here. And Josh, you were there, like as I mentioned, top of the show. You were there at Brittney Palmer's art exhibit. I couldn't make it; had to be at work. But you held the boat for us, and yeah. I mean, how was it? And are you still hungover, man?
It took me about a day to get over it. No, it was fun. She's talented. You know, she's not only known for her beauty and her personality, but she's also now known as an artist. If you follow her on Instagram, you see all her her painting. She does it often. She showcases it often on Instagram. But Saturday night in Hollywood, I think at the Artist Corner Gallery. It's right off of Hollywood Boulevard. She had her first exhibit. It was RSVP and all that stuff. I managed to get in, and it was fun. Man, it was quite an experience. Getting in there right at the beginning, I was one of the first people to actually show up. And you know, she had a little mini film crew around her most of the time, documenting the whole experience. In the back, they had open bar. They had a DJ. It was cool. It was a classy event. You know, a lot of the art. I saw a lot of it actually being sold. Normally they put a little sticker if that one got purchased. So right. She did pretty well, I think. You know, it's art's normally pretty expensive, and I mean, just for regular people, you know, like us, like a couple thousand, whatever. But yeah, it was a fun night, downtown LA, Hollywood. Managed to get one of our good friends, Steve. Yeah. He showed up and joined me towards the end of the night, and then went out after that. But it was a good time, and then Ariane was there. Brittney also obviously was there. There wasn't that many MMA related people as far as I can tell.
Probably because UFC 205.
Yeah, the UFC 205. And then there was obviously the Ferguson and Dos Anjos fight was going on too. So there wasn't a whole lot of MMA people there. I might have been one of the few MMA reporters or even journalists covering the thing. But she brought a big crowd and family, friends. I saw a couple of Hollywood people, like actors and stuff like that. I saw a few of those models, or a couple of them there too. Typical Hollywood crowd, all stylish, all looking good. Yeah. But it was a good time. It was fun. Once the work was over, I had I took advantage of the open bar, but it was a good time. Got to do something kind of cool with Ariane. Oh yeah. That night, that film crew wanted to film something with Ariane, and then they saw me already interview Brittney for the interview. She was very pressed on time, so she was being very had a mingle. Yeah, so she got me a few minutes of her time. It wasn't really anything too crazy, but we're gonna show that for you guys soon. But with Ariane, it was like they had me standing there as a mock interviewer, but I actually had to kind of interview her for quite a bit of time, at least 5-10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, if not more than that. And then I had to straight up ask her on the fly questions. Obviously, they pitched some questions to for me to ask, ask her about this, ask her about that. A couple more questions about fights and stuff like that. So I had to come up with that. But it was just me, Ariane, and I have a picture. I showed you the picture, and then the film crew were around us. It was about my Hollywood debut, man. It was like we're acting, and she had to act, and they were like, "Oh, do you mind giggling a few times? We need some clips of that." And she was doing some fake laughs and stuff like that. But it was cool, man. It was cool. It was me and Ariane in this situation that was awkward, and it was kind of fun too. But
That's freaking awesome.
yeah,
Man.
yeah. But the night overall was cool, and then yeah, we talked about EBI.
Yeah.
Garry Tonon. We got in touch with Garry Tonon. That was the next day afterwards.
Yeah.
And that was it, man. It was cool.
Yeah, let's talk about EBI 9. Josh and I covered a lot of EBIs in the past, and this one was a bit different as far as audience wise. The vibe wasn't the same. It seemed like they're kind of dead almost in a way. The matches kind of were really long. Some
of the matches,
yeah. I mean, it's always fun to cover an EBI. I just thought it was a bit different this time.
It was. I mean, for the most part, the crowd was into it. It's just there was a moment there where the matches started to go really long in overtime, and there was quite a few of those towards the end.
Yeah.
Before you got to the finals, and that's what kind of killed the mood for a lot of the crowd. They were like, you were just waiting for this match to be over. It's like
right.
But other than that, there were exciting matches, especially early on. A lot of quick finishes. The Danaher squad. I mean, again,
because those are impressive, man. It's almost a guarantee that they're going to win. Whenever they go on the EBI, they're going to win it.
Yeah, and this was Gordon Ryan was supposed to be in the tournament with Keenan Cornelius. Cornelius pulled out. Yeah. Gordon Ryan ended up pulling out due to a cut. Garry Tonon steps in. In the finals, it was Garry and Vinny Magalhaes, which was the match that everybody kind of wanted to happen.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah,
and it didn't disappoint. Vinny was obviously the bigger guy.
Yeah,
definitely
way
bigger guy. And I know that Garry is not normally at the light heavyweight class, so you can see the size difference. But he held his own. He fought through it and ended up winning in overtime. I think just based on the escape time.
Yeah, and
he it was a good event. I mean, aside from the dull moments of the long overtime matches. Overall, it was another great night of EBI Jiu-Jitsu at its finest, and I think the next one's in Mexico City. Mm-hmm. I believe that's it.
Yeah,
and then the one after that's in January or something like that. So
yeah,
looking forward to it.
Fun times, yeah. But there's also a discuss in the news of in the world of mixed martial arts. This morning, news broke that USADA finally gave John Jones, the former UFC light heavyweight champion, his punishment.
Yeah.
And he got punished for 1 year. Do you think that this punishment was just, or do you think they kind of overstepped their boundaries?
Yeah, I mean, it's Monday. The news broke out this morning, He got suspended a year, but it's also retroactive from July
right.
or something like that. So he'll be able to compete coming July or August around that time. So end of summer, towards the fall of next year. So we're not gonna see John Jones again for another while. I think it's just. I mean, a year is not that bad.
No,
especially since they're counting the past time already since July. It's not a total big loss for him. He's still a young guy.
Yeah.
Is he 30 yet?
I think so. I believe so.
He's 30. And
he's in his prime.
Yeah, and he's going to have the top guys. The same guys are going to be there. Anthony Johnson, Daniel Cormier, Gustafsson. They're all going to still be there. And he didn't. I guess he didn't have a good enough argument. It was almost that like, oh, my buddy gave this to me. I took it. I didn't ask too many questions. It was different from all the other guys who actually had a good reason and had the product to back it up. He didn't have much of that much information to back his argument up. It was almost just like it was carelessness on his part. And a year is not too bad, and it's more like just 6 months, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I think it fits. It's unfortunate, but that's what we have to deal with John Jones. So
yeah, I think it fits a crime. Also, I think that someone like John Jones and his recent, or I mean, his past, speaks for itself, and the trouble he's been with and been involved with. I think this punishment is actually lenient. I think, in my opinion, I think USADA had every right to give him 2 years.
Yeah,
the fact that he didn't have evidence that it was a tainted supplement. It was kind of like, oh, my buddy gave it to me, kind of thing.
He used almost the Anderson Silva excuse, Cialis, that the quote dick pill.
Yeah, so I think he deserved 2 years, but I think they were lenient and gave him a year. It's crazy because like you look at John Jones, he's not a big draw on pay per view.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the biggest draw, but he is one of the biggest stars. And who knows what's gonna happen with Ronda Rousey? How much if she loses this fight, she can easily retire. So there's 2 big stars, 3 with GSP not fighting. So I think it's gonna be Conor McGregor, having that pressure to bring that revenue in. And what if Conor loses? He probably want to take another 6 months to get that rematch, or I don't know what's gonna happen. So the UFC is in a lot of dilemma right now. They have their biggest stars, out with GSP, Ronda Rousey, close to exiting the door in retirement, and now you have John Jones, a guy that's not been on pay per view run, but he can sell some pay per views if you put him underneath a Conor McGregor pay per view card, and with him gone, the UFC is. Lorenzo Fertitta is loving it, but the UFC is probably stressed out right now.
Yeah, a lot can change in the next couple of months because Conor McGregor is fighting Alvarez this weekend. Rousey at the end of the year, and GSP's in the contract negotiations. John Jones suspended to the summer, so we probably won't have a lot. It's gonna be really interesting to see what stars are gonna come and go because obviously Rousey could just leave the sport. She's talked about it already. GSP could not come to terms, might not even come to terms with the UFC, and he won't even be back into the sport. Jones won't see till the end of the next year, and Conor has a tough road of contenders and 2 weight classes that can easily derail his hype train right now. So it's not good in terms of star power. There's not a whole lot of backup to, let's say, just Conor McGregor.
Well, that and I think the person that wins or benefits the most out of this, all the disease coming out is George St. Pierre. Now he has that leverage to maybe get that money that he wanted. Now that John Jones is out of the picture, Ronda Rousey can be out of the picture, the UFC in desperate need to have revenue, they might just bite the bullet and just sign
give GSP what he wants. Yeah.
So I think GSP is in a very good situation right now. He can bring that those points and bring that Canadian market back where it belongs. It's a dying market, I think, right now.
Yeah.
I think they got rid of their VP.
Yeah,
over there in Canada.
Well, I think they're getting rid of a lot of people. I think they got rid of the VP in Canada. I'm not sure. Yeah.
So it's crazy, but I think it benefits George St. Pierre for sure.
Yeah.
And then also in other news, obviously Bellator is going to be at the Forum in our backyard in January. Chael Sonnen begins his road to these legend fights against Tito Ortiz. And recently the Bellator held a press conference, and Chael Sonnen was throwing jabs at him, and it seemed like he got under Tito's skin. Tito was upset. He seemed like he's ready to burst out of his head.
Yeah.
Do you think that Chael Sonnen got under his skin, and do you think that this is a bad thing for Tito Ortiz?
I don't know about if it's what Chael's telling him that's getting him under his skin, or the fact that that Tito's just having a hard time, just measuring up to Sonnen's trash talk and just getting frustrated. He's putting so much pressure on himself to sell this fight.
To talk trash
and to talk trash. Instead of letting just the fight speak for itself and talking the necessary trash in order to sell the fight.
Yeah.
I think he's pushing himself too far and too much to try to measure up to what Chael, because Chael does it so effortlessly selling these fights, and Tito just has such a hard time.
Tito's the complete opposite. He tries way too hard. It comes out to be really
really scripted, really awkward.
Yeah, it's cringeworthy.
Very cringeworthy, and they were at the Bellator fight on Friday. They did a little thing. They had a press conference earlier in the week. It was just, it's getting eyes on it. It's getting the attention that it should. But it's just cringeworthy to see Tito try so hard.
Especially knowing what Tito's going to do in that fight. We've seen Tito fight for years now, and we know what he brings to the table. And so when you hear him talk trash, the way he's been talking, he's not doing that stuff in the cage.
Yeah.
And I mean, it'll be a miracle if he even makes it to the fight, and if he does and he loses, which I think he is, he's gonna start making excuses for that fight. So putting on that into perspective, it just the fact that he can't back up what he says. He's a crying wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but it's really hard. It's a bad pro wrestling promo.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I watch it just because I want to. It's like watching a car crash, kind of. You just have to see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's actually getting under his skin. I really don't know. They're trading some. They're kind of going low with each other. Like Tito went towards made some comments about Chael's real estate deal, and then Chael talked about Tito's financial issues, and so they're kind of going low blows on each other. They're throwing some here and there. So it seems like it's scripted, friendly trash talk, just for the viewers, for the audience, and then every now and then I think a couple of them actually sting a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited that it's here at the Forum.
Yes.
I hope that when Chael wins this fight, if Tito even mixes the fight, that Tito would just retire, because he's a fighter that's should be retired a long time ago, but keeps fighting for some reason. So hopefully it'll just end at this next fight in January. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that.
We'll see what happens.
So yeah, like we said on top of the show, Josh and I were at EBI 9 last night, Sunday night, at the Orphan Theater in downtown Los Angeles. We caught up with the light heavyweight champion, who is also a 3-division EBI champion, Garry Tonon. So here's our post-fight interview with Garry Tonon.
3-time division champ. How does it feel, man? How does the tournament feel compared to the rest? And what are your thoughts overall?
It feels great. I really love competing in this tournament. It's such a good experience. There's like a high rate of attacks. They have a great system for overtimes and things like that. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to submit all my opponents today in regulation or overtime. But I felt pretty good. I felt like I had a very attacking, exciting style for most of my matches. Maybe with the exception of the first one, it got to a little bit of a rough start. But other than that, I think I for the most part, came here and did what I was supposed to do. I think if Gordon was competing, he probably would have submitted everybody. So I'm sorry for that. But I was happy that I was able to come in and still win and make our team remain undefeated in EBIs. So.
And do you think that the weight difference, grabbing the guy is much bigger than you, kind of told the story as far as you not submitting your opponents?
Yeah, a lot of people will say things like, "Yeah, I feel like weight doesn't really matter that much in jiu-jitsu." It matters. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. It's hard to do. When you're grappling a bunch of dudes who are not only bigger than you, like much stronger, and I've been competing much longer with most of them as well. It's definitely a rough go. It makes things much more difficult. And you have to plan things out in this event too. You have to worry about your level of fatigue. Leading into these overtimes, and especially with these larger guys, it's much easier for them to hold pinning positions, when they get on top and things. So I have to keep that in mind. So you saw me, really trying to play to the inside on Vinny so that I didn't get, pinned down in too many rough spots and have to carry his weight for too long. That was a big part of the strategy. I was trying to push the pace on these guys as much as possible, but they hung tough. I was pushing the pace, but none of them really got that tired that I was able to exploit it that much. I think in the overtimes I exploited it a little bit, but still wasn't able to submit, unfortunately. It's in part my fault. It's some things that I have to sharpen up. It's also a little bit more difficult to lock a body triangle on some of the bigger guys. When they explode out or push into the legs, it's much more serious than when I'm doing this against smaller competitors. So that makes the overtimes a little bit more difficult. So there's a lot of challenges that this posed, and I was glad I was able to work through it. Looking forward to a better performance next time. I'm going to allow Gordon to compete in his rightful weight class in the 170 division. It'll be exciting to watch him be miserable and have to cut weight, and but then submit all of his opponents. Also, shout out to Tom Brees. He trains with us all the time in New York, and he was originally. I'm not sure exactly where he originally started training in England, but then when he went to TriStar and our gym work very closely with one another. We have a lot of crossover guys from there, and he's been a vital part of many of our training camps, and we try to help him in the first fights. And I thought he had an excellent match against Vinny, especially for somebody who isn't just professional grappling all the time. You know what I mean? Vinny's very experienced when it comes to grappling, done multiple ADCCs. You know, this is, you know, Tom's been doing a few professional grappling shows, but, you know, that's probably one of the highest caliber guys he's ever competed against, and he probably popped him in that inverted. You know, Vinny's just a very good counter fighter. You know, you go for heel hooks on him from 50-50, it's hard. He's willing to eat, you know, submissions in order to submit his opponents. So, you know, I thought he had an awesome match. Probably the best match outside of mine against Vinny. I mean, I think he had him in more danger than I did, to be honest. So it was awesome to watch him compete as well and to be a part of his training camp.
Yeah. How did Vinny feel in the later rounds and leading up to the final? And how did he feel in terms of weight and his size? And then during the match, you were psyching yourself up a lot. You did a lot of movements. And was that mental? Like just
a little bit. You know, I was trying. You know, I pushed the pace really hard against my third opponent. I really wanted to submit him in regulation. I mean, I want to submit everybody in regulation, but I really pushed the pace. And I got pretty exhausted after the third match. So, you know, going into that match, I had a little bit of a slow start against Vinny. I kept defensive, stayed inside. Whenever there was opportunity for attack, I took it, but I wasn't overly risking things like I normally do when I compete. Until about 5 minutes in, I felt like, okay, now's the time to open up. You know, I want to try to make something happen here. I felt like he didn't want to attack me that much because he was fearful. I think he was fearful that in the overtime he would be a little too tired, you know, to win. So I think once I realized that he was going to be kind of standoffish and wasn't really willing to attack too much, I felt a little bit more comfortable to push forward and try to push the pace, try to attack him, try to find some creative entries. You know, I do a lot of work on the feet, believe it or not. You know, I think a lot of people try to stay away from that. But honestly, I think it creates a lot of dynamic entries for attacks, and it's something some of these guys are missing out on. Especially on bigger opponents for me, actually, believe it or not. I come up to the feet and I try to enter from the feet frequently. It's a lot easier doing that than just carrying their weight from bottom position, in my opinion. You know, I mean, it takes a lot of work. I wrestle in the gym constantly. I'm always working on the feet. Not a lot of guys do that. They start on the knees. So that was just another component that we added to it. It's good.
The Death Squad is from New York. Obviously, next weekend is the UFC coming to New York for the first time.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Have you guys been training with any guys on the card?
No, unfortunately not. You know, who's going against McGregor? Sorry.
Alvarez.
Yeah. So, you know, Alvarez is a part of Ricardo Almeida's camp. You know, I haven't gotten a chance to train with those guys. You know, I come in anytime that they ask me to help. I know when Frankie was fighting, I guess it was Uriah Faber, maybe. Like he's got like a guillotine, so they had me come in and train with Frankie a little bit. You know, in the past I've trained with those guys a lot. You know, they run their. We're not really too involved in MMA yet. You know, and I think for for most of those guys that are fighting on that card, the jiu-jitsu isn't gonna be a critical role for their opponents. You know, so I don't. Not to say that we're not needed, but you know, there's better guys for them to be preparing for. It's probably going to be mostly boxing, and you know, I don't know. Maybe he'll take him down and submit him, but I don't think he needs to be so sharp against a guy like Conor. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there. I don't think. I mean, if somebody gets me a ticket, I'd be more than happy to go. It's going to be really tough to get tickets. They're very expensive. It's the first time in New York. I mean, it's legendary. It'd be awesome to be a part of it and everything. Yeah, I'm not one to really go and ask for. I mean, we're friends with a lot of MMA fighters, but I'm not one to try to pull strings for that kind of thing. You know, if somebody chooses to come to me and says, "Hey, do you want to go to the show?" I'd be more than happy. But even taking pictures with some of these guys, like we train with George all the time. If George asks us to take a picture, we take a picture. I don't really bug the guy. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel like as a professional, like with training with him and everything like that, I at least owe him the courtesy of just kind of like training, and that's our relationship, and whatever comes of it comes of it. I try not to take advantage of these guys' fame too much and our connections, because I want them to be comfortable and want to train with us and have it be more like we're just casual friends. So I won't. If somebody offers me a ticket, I'd be more than happy to take it, but I'm not going to bug anybody. I know it's tough. Everybody wants tickets to this one, so it is what it is. I'll get there one day. I'll be watching. I'll be competing in UFC one day, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm not missing out on too much. Honestly, when you go to these UFCs, sometimes it's better to be just watching on the TV. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's hard. A cage makes things difficult to see. When you're there in the UFC, it's exciting because there's the energy and there's all the people there. But you're mostly watching the TV screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like this where you're on stage and you can see everything clearly. You know, even when you're right, we had pretty good seats when Nick fought George, because I was part of that training camp. And even then, we were sitting very close to the octagon, and I found myself glancing at the octagon occasionally, but mostly looking up at the screen. So it's just so much easier to see. Yeah. So, but it'll be cool, man. I'm very excited that they finally broke through and got it done in New York. I mean, I don't know who was putting money in whose pockets to stop that from happening for so long. But anytime something you're like, I wonder why this is illegal. It seems kind of stupid. Somebody's putting money in somebody's pockets.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Probably the same thing that's going on with marijuana legalization and stuff too. Somebody's paying off somebody. You know.
Well, at least in California, maybe Tuesday.
Oh, you guys are completely legalizing?
At least recreationally for 21 and up.
Yeah. You know what's funny to me about all that? And it's weird to get this in an interview. It's just like what boggles my mind about it is like. How are we not concerned with like alcohol and tobacco abuse, but we are concerned with what's so much more dangerous about that than those two drugs? Well, realistically, you can actually die just from withdrawal from alcohol, which you can't really from weed. I don't think you can do that. I don't think it's possible. So I mean, it's clearly more toxic to the human body. I don't really see the debate. Oh, did you guys see recently there was some governor or like a mayor or something, they had him brought out on a panel, and some woman was like, you could have a heart attack the first time you smoke pot, and he falls over dead. He falls over dead like this. I was dying. That was so funny.
And I think it's just there are people that are still pushing that old stigma on it, and people, it's just...
Yeah, I think maybe it's just one of those things that's been illegal for so long, people still are like... It's funny, because when you're educated about it in school, I mean, I'm 25, this is only, now I'm only taking myself back 7 years or so, when I was in school, drug education, everything like that. They really demonize it much more than they do like alcohol abuse or smoking or anything like that. It's very odd. They don't give you a real picture of kind of what's going on. It's unfortunate, you know what I mean? Because it kind of makes you feel like you've been lied to. You know what I mean? And then I think I'd rather tell people the real story and make them make their own educated decisions than like lie to people. You know what I mean?
The revenue would be up like
strange. It should save people money. You know what I mean? It should make money for the state, taxing it and everything like that.
A lot of money.
Yeah, so I guess the cartels and the dealers and all that stuff just had enough money to give the government that they were like, we'll let them go. Weird.
So
sorry that was a weird. That happened. Super weird.
Going back to the whole MMA time. I know EBI was thinking of implementing some matches with striking. What
it's interesting. Apparently in the 170-pound weight class, they're not doing it then, but they're going to introduce. They're going to do like a little 4-man tournament where they have the smacks. I don't really. I'm not really sure what the rationale is. To me, MMA is MMA, and then there's amateur MMA, so there's even a build-up, and then there's grappling. You know what I mean? It's just a different sport. I mean, it'd be like adding slaps to wrestling. It's like it just seems unnecessary to me. It doesn't seem like a progressive thing. Adding slapping. It's not like adding slapping is going to make you more prepared, in my opinion, for MMA. Because it's completely different getting slapped and getting punched.
One thing is it going to be like commission needed.
That was my question. I actually asked Eddie about this. Apparently it's already approved by the Athletic Commission. They call it combat jiu-jitsu or something. He's already done events. So apparently it's already approved by the commission, and they can do it. So, and the UFC apparently already approved it. So
what about like a position on stage?
I'm not sure what they're going to do. I mean, I asked questions about it, relevant questions like what are the criteria for TKO, and he didn't give like 100% clear, but he just said, if somebody seems like they're out of it and just taking strikes, they'll stop it or whatever, and that'll count as a submission apparently.
And it's open hand.
Open hand. Honestly, I think it'll change the result of certain matches. It'll open up opportunity. I think more than anything, it's going to open up more submission opportunities because guys are going to be concerned with. I think once people realize that slapping people is just opening up submission opportunities on themselves, they'll probably stop doing it as much, and you'll probably see most of it just return to grappling anyway. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'm retarded.
And do you think that being too ambitious is kind of like an overkill?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think it's necessary. I think the shows are pretty exciting as is.
I think so too.
I could see, you know, like, so take my first match with Jimmy, where, like, you know, I'm just kind of getting up kicked in the chest and, like, nothing's really happening. Where, like, maybe, like, a good couple cracks to the jaw maybe might give somebody some incentive to move instead of just, like, keep their knees to their chest or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Or eye pokes too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Hard to say. I don't have enough experience
To know.
with that. There's not really too many people that have done it before to really say for sure, like, whether it's like a good thing.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. And I mean, personally, I hope that they kind of shy away from it, but you know, who knows? It's just weird.
All right, so what do you have coming up next, and when do you plan on defending your title?
Yeah. So I have ADCC trials coming up, and ADCC trials, I hear that they're not inviting too many people outside of, like, the MMA world this year, like jiu-jitsu guys. I hear, because I guess they're getting tired of guys just asking for invites. So we're all doing trials just in case. I made the mistake of doing some shit talking, you know, just messing around about ADCC. So I don't think they're too happy with me right now. Anyway, I don't think they're giving me any invites. It is what it is, you know. I'll win trials and get in, and if I don't win trials, do I really deserve to be in anyway? Screw it, you know what I mean? So I don't mind winning trials. So long as they used to have trials as 6-minute matches. That I do mind. I thought that was kind of shitty because I don't see how that equates to a 10-minute ADCC match. It's like a 3-minute. Essentially what it turns into is guys stall for 3 minutes because there's no points.
Yeah.
And then they do a 3 minutes points match, and what the hell does that say? But anyway, they're doing it for 8 minutes now, so you know, that's fine. That's enough time. You know, we'll see where it goes. You know, sometimes I have trouble with the points matches. You know, I plan to dominate. But I've won trials before. I've also lost trials before against some tough guys. So, you know, I'm excited for all of us to compete. Eddie will be doing it. Gordon will be doing it. I'll be doing it. So it'll be fun. You know, hopefully we all get in like we did last time. And well, Gordon lost in the finals last time, but I don't think that's going to happen this time. He's much more experienced. He's got a much better technique. You know, the guy's just getting better every day. So.
And I don't know if you want to give a shout out to your sponsors and just let the fans know where to find you on social media.
Absolutely. Muscle Farm is one of our new sponsors, so thanks for taking us on. You know, Studio 540 not only helps us individually as athletes, but they support all of these submission grappling events, you know, all over the place. They've been a huge force in, you know, just elevating submission grappling and grappling in general to the next level, which has been great, you know, helping us become more professional. Chimera Coffee has also been a long-time sponsor now. It's one of Jake Shields', you know, things that he does, and the guys from there are awesome, and their athletes are all really cool. I love all the Instagram posts that these guys make, and the product, the coffee is really good. It actually makes me like hyper focused. I had it one time, and we're at like the hotel room. I just immediately start cleaning the hotel room and fix everything till it's like perfect, and then I like go do some push-ups. It's insane. I don't know what they're putting in that stuff, but it's good stuff for sure. And then Armbar Soap Company has been a long-time sponsor of ours as well, and you know, they always help us out, giving us stuff. And well, actually, ironically, I think they should just quit the soap business. Not that they don't make great soap, but they should just make apparel. Their apparel is the coolest stuff ever. I know we don't have any examples. I had the sweatshirt on earlier, but I lost it as I was competing. But they make the coolest stuff, man. So you know, check out some of their apparel. It's really awesome stuff. And I'm trying to think if I missed anybody. Harambe. Yeah, can't forget Harambe. But yeah. No, I think I got everybody. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. It was, you know, very impressive. You know, watching you. It's always a pleasure watching you compete, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for being here.
See you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys.
And that was the one and only Garry Tonon, EBI 9 light heavyweight champion, 3-time division champion in EBI. Always gracious with his time, even after, you know, all like the tournament, you know, interviews before and after, and it's just he's such a cool guy, good guy, and I mean, what a talent he is in jiu-jitsu world, and it's scary, man. So, you know, props to him, all the love to him, and look forward to seeing him again compete again soon, and thank you to him for being on the show.
For sure.
You know, next up I wanted to talk about what happened this Saturday night. This weekend, actually, a couple of fights I want to get to. Tony Ferguson against Rafael dos Anjos. Did you see the fight going that way? And did you see Tony coming out the victory in such almost a dominant fashion, at least after the first round? And do you think he deserves a title shot? And do you think he'll get the title shot? That's a bigger question. It's not like he deserves it.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I picked Tony Ferguson to win just because the way he lost against Eddie Alvarez and the fact that he left King's MMA in the middle of his camp.
Oh, no, Rafael.
Rafael.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And then, but I didn't think that Tony Ferguson would dominate him the way he did. The first round, Dos Anjos really pressed the pace, and then he caught Tony Ferguson with some nice clean shots.
Yeah.
So I thought he was winning the fight, and then I think the second round, Tony Ferguson woke up, and from there on, he pretty much was on cruise control against Dos Anjos. I think he is going to get the title shot next. I think only because, let's say Conor McGregor wins, there's already heat between Conor and Tony Ferguson. I mean, Tony Ferguson has been on our show before.
Yeah.
You hear that episode on our show, he was talking shit about McGregor the whole time.
The whole time.
And there's other interviews with Ariel where he talks trash. He was nonchalant about it in his post-fight interview as far as, is he excited for a title shot, or is he gonna face Conor or Eddie? He doesn't really care. But
Khabib.
I think the seed for the rivalry between McGregor and Ferguson is there.
Yeah,
it's a fight that people want to see, and both guys bring an exciting style to the table. So I think if Conor wins, he can get the title shot. Now if Eddie Alvarez wins, I can see Eddie Alvarez fighting Khabib, but I think the bigger fight, money-wise, is Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor.
Yeah. I said the four major players are obviously Conor, Alvarez, Tony, and Khabib. And they've been like that for the past year or so. It's going to be interesting to see if Tony gets put up next for the title shot after this fight this weekend.
Yeah.
It lines up kind of perfectly. Or if Khabib is, going to fight Tony. Or maybe they put him next in line, depending on schedules and trainings, and medical suspensions and all that stuff. So a lot can happen. Obviously, we know who the two top guys are, and I think Tony is definitely the number one contender. Yeah. We'll see what happens, because there could be a rematch. Let's say Conor wins, beats Alvarez. Could be a rematch. Let's say Alvarez beats Conor. He wants that rematch. There's so much can happen.
Yeah, I think. I think Khabib is. I think UFC sees him as someone that can get injured.
Yeah. And
someone that kind of like a. My mind's going blank. Anyways, yeah,
he lost a lot of momentum too.
Yeah, and I think him being injury prone really hurts his chances of getting a title shot.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Tony Ferguson, he's been probably the most active behind Donald Cerrone.
Yeah.
He's young. He's exciting to watch. He's not like Khabib style is really pretty much grappling.
Yeah.
Where Tony Ferguson he pushes the pace. He goes forward. He throws really flashy moves, really unpredictable stuff. And I think that's what the UFC wants. As far as to market a fight and to market two exciting fighters. So I think. I truly believe if Conor wins Saturday night, which he's my pick, I think it'll be him and Tony. I think Eddie Alvarez wins. I think him and Khabib were supposed to fight already. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll be a fight, maybe a co-main event to a bigger fight.
Yeah. I think if Tony gets it, and let's say he fights Conor, if Conor gets past Alvarez, I think the chances and the style matchups in that fight are pretty good in odds for both of them. I know Tony's got that Frankenstein style. He'll come forward all the time, take shots. But then we have also Conor with that left hand power. If that movement, if he can land, which people really don't have a hard time landing on Tony, it's just putting him away. It's the hard part. Mm-hmm. Conor might have the power to put him away. Who knows?
I think so. I think he can drop Tony and hurt him. Maybe not knock him out, but hurt him bad enough where Conor can drop on top of him and finish the fight.
Yeah.
But then again, Conor, he's more he's vulnerable when guys put pressure on him, mm-hmm. and when guys give him the space, he becomes the aggressor. So I mean, it's a coin that can be tossed around either side, either create distance and Conor can knock him out or Tony Ferguson, pressure fights him.
Yeah, I think Tony has more advantages just on the cardio, size,
and jiu-jitsu as well.
Jiu-jitsu and just the overall aggressiveness and the ability to take punishment. he's got a lot more on his side to win the fight than Conor, I think, does. Because we've seen Tony. Tony's a big guy, and I've seen Conor in person. He's a big guy, but I don't know. He doesn't hold that same stature that I think Tony kind of does in person. So it's gonna be interesting. Also over the weekend, Phil Davis becomes the first, one of the first UFC free agents to come from the UFC to Bellator in recent times, or ever actually.
Ever, yeah.
To become a champion. He won the light heavyweight champion over Liam Nagiri in a dominant fashion.
Very dominant.
And does exactly what he wants. He comes into the organization, first guy to really do it in the present era, in the current era. Goes over, decides he wants to shoot for the title shot, gets a title shot, and works his way up, against tough contenders, and gets a title victory. And now he's light heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
What would you make of his performance and what it means for all the other guys that have come over, like Rory and Benson, who's fighting next in a couple weeks?
I mean, like all those free agents from the UFC, I mean, it's just brighter on that side as far as money, sponsorship, and then title fights. You know, Phil Davis, like you said, was the first guy from the UFC to come over to Bellator, and deserving so. Not only is he the first guy to come over, but he's also the first guy to win a title. You and I predicted it in the beginning. We said that he's going to win a title shot. I mean, he's going to win a world title in Bellator.
Yeah. And
I can see Phil holding that title for a very long time. I can see him maybe rivaling with King Mo, but I think he puts away King Mo each and every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy for Phil Davis. It just shows the other guys from the UFC who maybe he's on the fence whether to stay in the UFC or go to Bellator that, hey, you can come to Bellator, make money, and become a world champion.
Yeah. I think it was, it was good to see him win so dominantly. He pretty much controlled Liam Nagiri the entire time.
No, it was a one-sided fight.
It was a one-sided fight. The rest of his competition, he's fought a lot of the top competition in his division.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the edge on most of them, if not all of them. I don't even know if he has Chael to really worry about. I can see Chael just sticking to maybe a middleweight.
Yeah.
Even then, I wouldn't even say Chael has much of a chance against Phil. So he's going to hold that title for quite a while, I think. I don't see anybody in the near future that's going to really give him a hurting. Maybe someone will take down the fence and amazing striking, but that's about it.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, but it was a dominant victory by Chael. I mean, not by Chael, by Phil. I think it shows, especially Benson coming up, that, it is possible. And like I said, for all the other fighters that are considering going to Bellator, that there is a chance. You've seen someone has done it, and he's there as an example to all the other guys. So,
right, for sure.
Yeah, it's a big moment for him. So next up we have the interview with Brittney Palmer, which I got on Saturday night at the art exhibit, her first showing. I believe that she called it "I Remember Faces." It's her painting was the subject matter was mostly like celebrities and family members and stuff like that, where it's just really cool colors and it was good stuff. So we caught up with her, quick little interview. She was pressed on time, but she was really nice, and hopefully you guys enjoy this interview with Brittney Palmer.
You are here at Brittney Palmer, UFC ring card girl, and you're here at your first art exhibit. Tell us how you feel about this whole event going on, and it's all about you and showing another side of you.
I think that's just it. This is my first solo exhibition, and I've worked really hard. I've, hours and hours in the studio, and, it's been a long time coming. I started professionally doing art 6 years ago, and so now it's finally, everything I've worked so hard for is here.
How does it feel to, you've been in this spotlight, especially in the mixed martial arts world, you're known for your beauty, your personality, but to be known for something else, how does that feel?
I think that, like I had mentioned, this is really what I've been working so hard for. I have UFC, and UFC is the reason that I have like eyes on product, and people can see me and see what I'm doing. So, it feels great, and I'm so blessed to have everything that I have. The show and UFC.
Yeah, and you have your family and friends here. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, well, they better be here. Everyone that's here from my family, my friends, they all are a part of this show. My best friend's right there, and there's a piece for her. It's over there. It's called I Promise. We both have matching I Promise tattoos on our hands, so that's an ode to my best friend. And then I have my mother and my grandmother's portrait over there, and they're here. So it means a lot to me to have all my friends and family and everyone here. It's just so supportive.
And just a little bit on MMA. UFC was just purchased by WWE. They have their hands in a lot of things. Is that something that, with this new management, new ownership, is that like, there's new possibilities for you in the future that doors could be open for you?
Yeah, I think already being with UFC, so many doors have opened. Yeah. And, I've always said this at every interview, Dana is a smart cookie, and, he has everything planned out, and I think, the way that where UFC has gone is, that's so exciting, and I'm so, there's the motorcycle gang. I'm so happy to still be with the UFC, and I hope that it opens more doors, but if it doesn't, I'm so happy where I am.
Yeah. Well, let the fans know where they can purchase your art, who isn't here.
Okay.
Maybe get to, find you on the social media and stuff.
Okay, they can get my art at BrittneyPalmerStudios.com. Right now, there's I Remember Faces, which we're doing a live stream of the entire show, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Brittney Palmer. Yeah, thank you.
UFC ring girl / artist Brittney Palmer. Josh was lucky enough to get an interview with her, so we want to thank her for her time, and you guys need to check out her art, and if you guys are rich, buy some.
It wasn't my favorite interview, but I mean, it was one of those moments.
Your pressure's on.
Yeah, the pressure's on because there was so little opportunities to speak to her that you just had to go right in there.
Yeah.
And you gotta just ask whatever comes off the top of your head.
Yeah,
whatever. But obviously, if you guys watching on YouTube, you guys can enjoy that. But I thought it was a great time, and I had a lot of fun. So right now we're gonna get into a couple of just our fight picks overall. We're gonna go over that. UFC 205 this weekend. Also, 1FC 49 is November 11th. You have Bellator 146, Karishkov versus Lima. That's on Spike. That's also on Friday. You have Legacy FC 62, Lovato versus Coleman. That's on Friday. And you have on Saturday, Cage Warriors Unplugged. That's on UFC Fight Pass. That's Saturday. Mm-hmm. And UFC 205, Alvarez versus McGregor. Saturday, live from Madison Square Garden in New York. Finally, the first event. We've been waiting a long time for this. We're going to go, there's so many, you could go over this entire card from top to bottom. It's one of the best cards ever put together, if not the best card ever put together. But we're going to go from the main card on up. Raquel Pennington versus Miesha Tate to kick off the night. Who do you have?
Oh man, I like Miesha Tate. I think she's a resilient fighter. I think her grappling is a telling story. It's weird because she coached Raquel Pennington in the tough 18 or 19. I don't remember the number, but yeah, I can see her grappling becoming a factor. I think she's a resilient fighter, and I can play a favor in her fight. Plus, she has experience too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miesha Tate on this one. You got Kevin Gastelum versus Donald Cerrone.
I like Donald Cerrone in this fight. He's looked like a beast at 170. I can see him continue his winning streak at 170.
I'm going to go with Cerrone also. Yoel Romero versus Chris Weidman.
Oh, man. Yeah, I like Chris Weidman in this fight. I think Yoel Romero coming off that suspension. It's been, it was a long suspension, but I think Yoel Romero is still a strong wrestler, but I think Chris Weidman can find a way to edge him out. Plus, Chris Weidman's in his backyard, and I don't see him losing in his backyard either.
Yeah. I should give a little back up around too. Well, Miesha Tate, just because they're based on the wrestling and the toughness. Cerrone, stand up, and he's looked so good at welterweight. Yeah. Yoel Romero, I'm gonna go actually Chris Weidman. I think skill wise, I think he's just if he can withstand the storm of Yoel Romero, I think he's got all the skills and the mental toughness and smarts to to go get past Yoel Romero, which who relies a lot on power and speed. Joanna, I'm going Joanna for the strawweight title over Carolina. I think Carolina's tough, but I'm going to go Joanna.
Yeah, I'm not saying here. I think Joanna's a champion that we saw her in show for a lot of her fights, and she's Brazilian also, and I don't see her dropping her title.
No, with that stand up and the pace that she puts on and the experience, Joanna all day. I think on that one. Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
I think Stephen Boy Thompson is a more just a fighter. I think he can beat Tyron Woodley standing up, and I can see Tyron. I mean, I can see Stephen Boy Thompson beating Wyman. I mean, beating Woodley via knockout or TKO.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Stephen too. I think as long as he can withstand the right hand of Tyron Woodley, I see him pretty much outworking him, outclassing him, especially on the feet. Eddie Alvarez versus Conor McGregor for the lightweight title. Main event of this first fight in New York. Who do you have?
I can't bet against Conor, man. I think Conor is going to finish Eddie Alvarez. I think if there's one fight where he can win another title in a different division, I think this is his best chance of winning against Eddie Alvarez. I can see him knocking him out. I think once he connects that left hand, I think it's nice out.
Yeah, I see. As if Eddie doesn't go for just takedowns, or I mean, Eddie can easily win the fight. I'm not putting anything past Eddie, but I think Conor. Yeah, like you said, anybody in this division, just based on style, size, and just who the fighter is, I think this is Conor's best chance. So I'm going to go with Conor. I'm kind of put my faith in that left hand of his, and I think he'll come out the victory and be the first simultaneous two champion.
That's going to be crazy, man.
Title holder.
That's going to be insane.
We'll see what happens. Eddie's a tough guy. I could see him easily dominating too. So
and they brought him that Brazilian to marry Conor.
Bill Herino. Good friend Bill Herino.
And then Mark Henry is he's a mastermind. So.
Yeah. All right, we want to thank you guys for watching the show, listening to the show. Thank you to Brittney Palmer and Garry Tonon for being on the show. We look forward to recapping everything from UFC 205 and all the fights over the weekend. Make sure you go to our HollerOckGear.com sponsor page and on .com and go to that website and use the promo code Complex15 to get 15% off your order. And also go to check out the website, our website, themmacomplex.com.
You can follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James, JAYMZ. You can follow him on Twitter, MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook under MMA Complex. And big fight this weekend, UFC 205. Josh and I will recap all the action. So until then, enjoy the fights and enjoy your week.